A lot of our readers have been asking us questions about the MG HS range. One in particular that stands out is, which one do I buy? We're here today to answer that exact question. We've assembled all three regular trims here today. We've got an entry-level Vibe, mid-level Excite and top-spec Essence in order to answer the question. So let's go for a deep dive through the MG HS range to discover which one is our pick. It's worth noting that MG is one of the few brands in our market that offers national drive-away pricing. That means the costs that you see here are on-road costs for a plain, non-metallic white vehicle. Any of the other four colours will add a $700 charge to the vehicle's price. If you're looking to compare an MG to something else, be sure to compare apples with apples. Make sure you use the other brand's online vehicle pricing tool to gauge exactly how much the alternative will cost you in the state that you currently reside in. One thing that's common across the whole MG HS range is a choice of engine, but we'll come to that a bit later. As for exactly what you get on the outside for your money, we've included this handy specification table for the finer details. The interior of MGs has come a long way given they've only been operating in Australia now for about 4 years. We're in the entry-level Vibe model now, and the first thing that stands out is this large 10.1-inch infotainment system. Now it's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it lacks native navigation at this trim level. Also in this trim level you get artificial leather seats. Now they look hard wearing and robust, they're also quite comfortable, but they do lack a bit of lateral support, so a bit of bolstering wouldn't go astray. Standard across the range also is keyless entry and start, as well as this semi-digital instrument cluster. More importantly, as standard across the whole range too, is MG's advanced driver suite system called MG Pilot. For your money, you get blind spot monitoring, adaptive cruise control, traffic jam assist, lane keep assist, the whole kit and caboodle. It's great to see a challenger brand like MG not trading with safety as a commodity and putting all these things as standard across the range. Overall, with the cabin of this car, however, the quality is there and the technology is definitely there for your money. We're now in the mid-level Excite trim, and by stepping up, you do net a bunch of interior extras. First thing you'll notice are there are paddle shifters now on the steering wheel to control the 7-speed dual clutch auto, as well as a sport button too on the steering wheel. As far as rational items go, at this level you also get inbuilt navigation, dual zone climate control and rain sensing wipers. As far as beautification goes, you also get customizable ambient lighting, which does a lot to lift the overall cabin experience at night. With this mid-level trim Excite, you get a good balance of exterior and interior items for your money. Here you'll find a complete specification breakdown across the whole MG HS range. Standard items include keyless entry and start, as well as an electronic handbrake, to name a few. We're now in the top of the line Essence model, and by jumping up to the top of the tree, naturally you get all of the most premium features offered by MG. First thing you'll notice is a large opening panoramic sunroof. That does a great deal to make this car feel luxurious. It also has a massive opening too, which is great on those warm, sunny days. A big item with this cabin too is the inclusion of electrically adjustable and heated sport seats. Now these offer more bolstering than the other two and give you better lateral support, which is great. They're also made from genuine leather, not synthetic leather, as per the other two vehicles in the range. As for rational items, you get a 360-degree parking camera, which rounds out the big ticket items for this cabin. This Essence variant represents the nice to have model in the range. If you can make the stretch, go for it. You'll love the opening panoramic sunroof and you'll love these sport seats too. However, I think I'd rather save the $4,000 and make do with that mid-level Excite model. Out in the second row, space is pretty good here. I've got give or take 5 centimeters in front of my knees. I've also got great headroom despite this car having an opening panoramic sunroof. The one downfall, however, is this rear seat squab. It's inclined a bit interestingly and you sit a bit awkwardly in it, and I find it quite hard to get comfortable. As for technology on board, there's 2 USB ports out back, great for keeping devices charged, a pair of rear air vents too, as well as probably the nicest designed rear center console trim I've ever seen. It has a set of cup holders on board, as well as a flocked center storage area. An electric tailgate is offered from the mid-level Excite trim and is not available on the entry-level Vibe. What is common across all three cars, however, is the amount of boot space on offer. There's 463 litres on board, which is enough to chuck in a pair of medium suitcases and a pair of overnight bags without too much space to spare. If you wish to extend the storage space, the second row folds in a 60-40 split. The seats also fold flat, and that creates 1,287 litres of storage in total. As for cheeky other items, there's a bunch of storage underneath here for dirty items or expensive goods, and underneath that is a space-saving spare wheel. Its turbocharged engine produces 119 kilowatts of power and 250 newton meters of torque from 1700 to 4400 RPM. The engine's power is managed by a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission, which distributes power through the front wheels only. The option of all-wheel drive is not offered on any of the MG HS variants. I was initially pleasantly surprised by this MG given how much it costs, because it does two things really well for the money. First is ride comfort, second is steering. Now on the ride comfort, this is a $35,000 car give or take, and it rides really well. It's not bumpy, it's not crashy, it doesn't feel dangerous or nervous or anything like that. Easy to drive and easy to know around town, which is just what you want. The other thing too is steering. Now, a lot of established manufacturers get it quite wrong still, so it's nice to see that MG have put some effort into making the steering feel more natural. You get a good sense of what's going on, it doesn't feel vague, and you don't feel concerned about what's happening underneath you. Two good things there. However, its comfort comes at a bit of a compromise, and that's in the area of body control. If you live in a rural area and you're in 100 zones and long sweepers and fast bends, I'd recommend spending a bit more money and buying something else. But around town, at 60, 70 zones, this car is beyond fine. I would wish there was a bit more displacement from this engine or a bit more torque. It feels a bit lazy, it's in a big car and it's a relatively small engine and it just battles a little bit. However, the transmission is good. Compared to their previous endeavours in this field with the MG GS and other cars, this has come a long way. It's a dual clutch item, it is a bit lurchy, it does bob around a bit and you've got to learn to drive it like with most of them, but to be honest, it's a fair attempt at what is a pretty advanced transmission. Another odd thing too about this car is whenever you turn the lane keeping assist on, or trigger the lane keeping assist for that matter, it changes the screen, you lose your digital speedo and it goes to cruise control and you have to kind of toggle back, which is quite annoying. I like to refer to this car as 90% there. If you look at the Japanese or the Korean more expensive alternative as 100%, this is 10% shy of that. It's just missing a bit of polish in areas and a bit of refinement, things like the cruise control and its transmission and a few other little areas. But other than that, overall, it's a reasonably good car and probably one of the best ones that's come out of China to date. The reimagined version of MG, what we're driving currently, under Chinese ownership, it's been around in Australia for give or take 4 years now. It's pretty amazing to think how far they've come in that time. They've achieved what took the Koreans 10 years to do in half the time, which then took the Japanese 20 years to do in their time. When you think about it like that, we could be looking at a 100% MG product in as short a time as 2 or 3 years from now, which is pretty amazing to think. So there you have it. I hope that this video has given you a comprehensive review of the MG HS range. As for picking one, well, they're all pretty good to be honest, but if I had to pick one, I'd go for this mid-trim Excite model here. Reason being, it offers the right balance of equipment alongside a really good price point at $34,990 drive away. If there are any other cars or ranges that you want us to compare, make sure you let us know in the comment section below. And as usual, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel.